In the annals of human history, few figures stand as tall as Moses, a man chosen by God to lead a nation out of bondage and towards the promise of a land flowing with milk and honey. His story is one of courage, faith, and unwavering devotion, a testament to the power of a single individual's connection with the divine. The story of Moses begins in the most unlikely of places, amidst the reeds of the Nile River. Born into a time when the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt, Moses' life began under the shadow of oppression. Yet his birth was a divine orchestration, a glimmer of hope in a world clouded by darkness. Pharaoh's decree to drown all Hebrew male infants in the river met its match in the courage of Moses' mother, who set him adrift in a basket, guided only by her faith. As the currents carried him, the basket came to rest in the hands of Pharaoh's daughter, who took the child in as her own. Moses' upbringing within the palace of power and privilege placed him at the nexus of two worlds, the oppressor and the oppressed. Yet the stirring of a greater purpose within his heart remained, a purpose that would call him to leave behind all that he had known. It was in the solitude of the wilderness that Moses' destiny intersected with a burning bush, an encounter that would change the course of his life and the history of a nation. The voice of God resonated through the flames, commanding Moses to return to Egypt and demand the release of the Israelites from their bondage. In this divine moment, Moses' hesitations were met with reassurance, for God declared, "I will be with you." Armed with this unwavering promise, Moses confronted Pharaoh with the plea, "Let my people go." Yet his demands were met with disdain and a hardening of Pharaoh's heart. The plagues that followed were not mere displays of power, but profound messages of liberation and justice. Each plague, from the rivers turning to blood to the darkness that shrouded Egypt, was a call to recognize the power of the Almighty and to set the captives free. And then came the night of the Passover, a night etched in history as the turning point for the Israelites. With the blood of a lamb marking their doorposts, they were spared from the final plague, the death of the firstborn. As Egypt mourned, Pharaoh finally relented, allowing the Israelites to depart. Yet the journey to freedom was not without its trials. The crossing of the Red Sea stands as a defining moment, a manifestation of God's power and the culmination of Moses' faith. As the waters parted before the outstretched staff, the Israelites walked on dry land, a symbol of their deliverance from captivity. And when the sea closed behind them, Moses' song of praise echoed in the wind, a song of triumph and gratitude for the God who had made a way where there seemed to be none. The wilderness wanderings that followed were a test of both the nation's faith and Moses' leadership. Despite the manna that fell from heaven and the water that flowed from a rock, doubts and complaints persisted. Yet Moses' unswerving dedication to his people and his God never wavered. It was atop Mount Sinai that he received the 10 Commandments, etching into stone the moral foundation upon which the nation was to be built. Moses' journey neared its end as the Israelites approached the borders of the Promised Land. The man who had led them through the wilderness, who had borne their burdens and interceded on their behalf, was now called to view the land he would not enter. With a heart full of faith, Moses stood on Mount Nebo, gazing at the land flowing with milk and honey. His life, marked by sacrifice and service, had come full circle. The story of Moses is not merely a historical account, but a tapestry woven with threads of faith, courage, and divine purpose. It is a story that reminds us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, one person's willingness to heed the call of God can shape the course of nations. Moses' legacy lives on as an inspiration to all who dare to stand against oppression, who dare to believe in the power of a burning bush, and who dare to trust in the promise, "I will be with you